Hi all, welcome back. In this lecture, we'll go through various steps involved in authorization code flow. The authorization code flow begins with the client application redirecting the user to the authorization server authorize endpoint, which validates the client ID, and if it's valid, redirects user's browser to a login page, where the user will enter their credentials. While sending request to the authorization server authorize endpoint, client application sends response type, client ID, redirect URI, scope, and state request parameters. Let's understand what these parameters are used for. So the first parameter is client ID. Client ID is the identifier for the application obtained when the developer first registered the application. Next parameter is response type. So you can see we are passing the response type as a code. This tells the authorization server that the application is initiating the authorization code flow. The next parameter is redirect URI. This tells the authorization server where to send the user back to after they approve the request. Next parameter is scope. Scope is one or more space-separated strings indicating which permission the application is requesting. The specific OAuth2 API you are using will define the scope that it supports. Next parameter is state. Though we are not showing it over here, this is an optional parameter, we can set it. Application generates a random string and includes it in the request. It should then check that the same value is returned after the user authorizes the app. This is used to prevent CSRF attacks. So we have covered all the parameters now. So the first step is client application sends an authorization code request to authorize the client application and the user. Authorization server validates the client ID that it belongs to the client application that is already registered with the authorization server and it's valid. On successful validation, authorization server redirects user to the login page. Thank you. See you in the next lecture.